Hello, I'm Brian Warmouth, the Director of Editorial Retail at Digital Commerce 360, and I will be your moderator for today's webinar. Thank you for joining us. Today, I am joined with Amelia Dietrich, Senior Account Director at Mountain, Lynn Calhoun, Chief Marketing Officer at Replacements Limited, and Adam Gerges, Paid Media Specialist at Woom Bikes USA. Streaming services continued to embed themselves in consumers' daily media habits in 2024. As they did, brands sought out new ways to enter those experiences, leveraging ads, artificial intelligence, and shoppable video to connect viewers with targeted messaging and actionable content. Connected TV, also known as CTV, has never had more ways of matching advertisers with audiences. So how do retailers plan to leverage these opportunities in 2025? What decisions are advertisers making to achieve the best results? And what should retailers know if they are just getting started with CTV? In today's live discussion, you will learn about how CTV ads work and how they are evolving, what distinguishes CTV advertising as a means of reaching shoppers, examples of strategies that retailers use when advertising through CTV, and technology and trends that will impact how CTV is used in the year ahead. Just a few housekeeping notes before we get going. We can take questions at the end of the presentation, but you can ask them at any time using the chat box on the right side of your screen. You can also use that box to let us know of any technical difficulties that you're having, and someone will help you out with that. So with all that said, let's get started. I have a few questions to roll out to everybody. Maybe we can start though by introducing each of our wonderful panelists today. Let's go around and I'd ask, could you please introduce yourselves and share a little bit about your role at your companies? Lynn, maybe we could start with you.
Certainly. So my name is Lynn Calhoun. I am the Chief Marketing Officer here at Replacements Limited. As you can see behind me, we offer lots of dinnerware of all sorts of patterns and designs. My role is really leading the development and execution of customer-centric marketing strategy and, of course, driving profitable sales. I have fostered a team that really is focused on the omni-channel growth and enhanced customer experience. We focus on leveraging data-driven decision-making, advanced technologies, and innovative marketing approaches to achieve our results. Over my career, I have found that technology is constantly evolving. Ways to engage with customers is doing so as well, and it is so important to be where the people are. And the opportunity here is really learning about how that is possible with a platform like Mountain. So excited to be here. And of course, replacements.com. If you're not familiar with us, it's because you're not using your dinnerware often enough. So I'll move off that.
Adam.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. I'm Adam Gerges. I'm with Woom Bikes USA. I'm the paid media specialist. Pretty much overlooking all, paid advertising efforts. And as Lynn alluded to, we need to be where our audience is. And Woom Bikes it's a children's bike company, so pretty much specializing primarily kids bikes from ages 18 months up to 14 months. It's an Austrian brand, and so I'm pretty much here working at the U.S. headquarters in Austin, and the culture is different between European audience and American audience. So we had a lot of market research really tell us that a lot of families downtime they do a lot of streaming. So definitely wanted to find a solution to pretty much advertise and really tell the story of the mission of Woom Bikes to our prospects, and Mountain really fit the bill there. So yeah, excited to talk about what we've done.
I appreciate that, and I think it's really fascinating where both you and Lynn have stories that intersect with your customers' lives at very unique places. So I look forward to hearing some more about that today. Amelia, maybe you can tell us a little bit about what you do with Mountain.
Yeah, awesome. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. I'm Amelia Dietrich. I am a senior account director over at Mountain, which is a connected TV platform really driven in defining performance for brands. And where I fit in, I'm a strategic partner working and evolving customer relationships. And really, my focus is to drive that advertising growth and maximize their campaign performance. So make sure everything looks good when they are running with CTV.
Wonderful. Well, let's get into CTV then today, the topic of the day. Our chat today is about how retail brands are using connected TV to reach their target audiences. Can you turn this to of you? Can you describe for us how your company uses CTV? I think this would be a great place to get started. Lynn, maybe you could dive into this first.
Absolutely. So we have integrated connected TV into our digital strategy, and really both on the top of the funnel, I'll call it brand awareness building, as well as the reminders or remarketing thereof, and really able to provide that unique opportunity to get in front of people, remind them about us, and in a way that is seamless through all of their touch points.
Adam, how do you approach this?
Yeah, very similar. We have, awareness consideration campaigns, pretty much excluding our email list. So really just trying to reach like net new users or net new customers, and then a retargeting campaign, pretty much promoting any sort of discounts that we're running maybe throughout. Usually have one large one every month or so. But yeah, pretty much those are really the main ones. And then we've also split up our awareness and consideration on key cities as well. So we've developed like a key cities approach because Womb, at least in the US, started as just direct to consumer. But with bicycles, it's a bit tough to really sell those bikes, through digital sort of means. So we've just, as of like last year, we've built out like our offline business, and really this year is we're really just wanting to expand more on that. So yeah, probably within this year, we really want to sort of take some strategies and tactics to promote those offline retailers, mainly like REI and independent bike dealers. So yeah, I think there's some interesting things we can do in that regard.
Well, you get in a little bit there to the next question I was going to bring up, which was about the strategies you use. And specifically the city's specific approach is very interesting to me on this front. I don't know if you could expand on that, or tell me, are there any other specific strategies that you have used on this channel that you'd suggest other retail brands adopt? Or maybe you could tell me a little bit about why that approach has been helpful to you specifically in your brand. Adam, I start with you.
Oh, to me?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Is it a culture, bike culture, city by city? Is it temperature and weather? Tell me about this.
Yeah, it's a bit of both. So yeah, we did launch into REIs around the country. So yeah, it's usually like based on which of those cities that we offer them in, and then as well as like and then yeah, just also like bike culture in general. So we usually see like San Francisco, LA, New York, and then like South Florida are some of like the pretty much the main targets and cities that we're wanting to focus on, in addition to like to Dallas and Houston as well, and pretty much sort of like win our backyard, as we like to call it. So yeah, it's and then yeah, it's also like based on sales data as well, that we see like where we're really So, so yeah, that's sort of how we've sort of fleshed out the plan.
I appreciate that. Well, what can you speak to any of the results or specific wins you've seen from deploying that strategy?
Yeah. So we had launched that strategy sort of like midway last year. Actually, it was within we sort of had a rebranding last year in March. So before we were you know, Pedal Your Planet, but now we rebranded to Enjoy the Ride. So essentially, it's just like you know, in addition of, you know, your child enjoying the ride, we're also speaking to the parents and sort of enjoying the ride of parenthood as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so I think that message you know, really resonates with you know, with the parents, and then we also like the content and the videos that we produce. You know, it would definitely you know, if parents were to be watching a show or something with their children, with their child, and they see that commercial and that video, it's definitely like something that, you know, pulls the heartstrings, and it's sort of like an emotional story that we've told. And yeah, we've seen definitely like double percentage, like year over year increases in those cities. So so yeah, it's definitely worked. And yeah, CTV has definitely been like a stone in that.
Yeah. Well, Lynn, you're a different use case and a much different product. Tell me about what your approach has been to developing a strategy to make CTV work for you, and what have you seen?
Absolutely. So I would say first that what is wonderful about how we've been able to partner with and create campaigns with connected TV or through Mountain is establishing a proof of concept is really how we started. And like so many of us with limited budgets, it's really carving out those dollars to say, okay, what can we do? And being able to do that with a fairly reasonable, and for us it was I think it was $5,000. And in the scheme of things, that's not that much, but it is something for our size business. So that really started us down that path whereby we were testing our creative assets in different formats in terms of 15, 30 seconds, call to actions, different messages there to build that top of the funnel awareness. Because at the end of the day, replacements has been around for 4 decades. And it is a very strong word of mouth brand in terms of you broke it, you need to replace it, and that's the name.
Yeah.
You come to replacement. So it's service oriented, timing is everything, but being top of mind is also the opportunity. So through our partnership with Mountain and doing the proof of concept, we then were able to just scale that and make it more an integral part of both our acquisition efforts, because we were seeing net new customers by doing some of those things that Adam mentioned in terms of suppressing those emails and things of that nature, where you can really refine your targeting while also testing different audiences by doing lookalikes. But for us, the game changer was, quite honestly, is the Mountain Match audience, and being able to utilize that in a way that allowed us to, beyond broad reach and target specific audience, based on the interest and purchase behaviors, refine those audiences and see even better engagement. And then the marketing layered on top of that, really, again, I'm not sure if that was truly the game changer, but it is that leveling and reinforcing. So, you know, what's the message about advertising? Be everywhere all at once, but also the frequency of that. So you not only need to be there, but you need to be there in some type of frequent cadence. And by integrating Mountain into our digital strategy, we're able to do that from top of the funnel all the way through until we get them back to our website and they're converting at card.
Yeah, well, targeting was something I wanted to ask you specifically about, since I know you've had some experience with that on Mountain's platform. What targeting strategies, like what you're explaining here, have you implemented that really, you know, I think helped you the most? And I wonder if, you know, have there been any specific technologies? You mentioned the matching, audience matching feature that you've
Yes.
implemented. What have you made that you've seen make reaching your shoppers easier than it was before? Like, is this taught you about your audience and your shoppers and who's using them?
Great question. I would say I'd go back to the there's an element of the Mountain Match audience, which is AI driven, and so that we are able to level set by looking at similar behaviors or those lookalikes, but then add in that layer of those behaviors or tendencies. So, for example, during the holiday time, when we were focused on those presented to these lookalike audiences, then there's this layer of behaviors as to, is this someone who might be also watching, say, cooking channels or looking for, those types of entertaining factors. And so layering on those refinements, really we were able to just improve the performance of those audiences. And as well as the performance, it actually then also informed the next iteration of our video content.
Let me ask Amelia a few questions on this front. Can you give our viewers here on the webinar today a rundown of the audience targeting capabilities of CTV for those who are perhaps unfamiliar with this process and how you approach this? Also, how has that technology evolved over the last few years as the adoption really boomed?
Yeah, I'd love to. For the first question, I think that the audience targeting capabilities have really been revolutionized from what people would traditionally think of like linear TV. Linear TV, traditional TV, standard demographics, right? You're gonna pick a show, you're gonna reach a broad audience. Whereas CTV is really refining and evolutionizing the way that we can target an audience. So that's through third-party audience segments or behavioral targeting specifically. Interest-based, is an audience interested in purchasing a bike? Are they, entertainers? Are they looking for fine dining experiences and purchasing, those products? Also geographically, as Adam mentioned, we can get really precise on specific locations. Where is your core audience? How do you reach them? We can refine based on geographics as well. There's also first party leveraging, lapsed customers, previous customers. I think I recently saw a stat that a current customer is 10 times more effective and, it has a higher purchasing power than a net new. So those are imperative audiences that you want to continuously hone in on and reach. And CTV gives you all that accessibility. And then furthermore, is kind of Lynn, also mentioned, is the AI targeting capabilities. I think that that's something net new that has evolved and is, the hot new word with artificial intelligence. But people can really lean in and experience this high-end technology that's being able to be utilized in connected TV. It takes the guessing out of it, and it really can lean into reaching your core audience with this data and, again, tech that is going to go after the highest intent households within the US. And that's what Mountain's doing. That's what we're leveraging through Mountain Matched. Both womb and replacements have been utilizing that to the fullest capacity, and they've seen successes come from that. And so I don't think people should be wary of AI. I think they can lean into it from these two experiences alone. But yeah, I think that that's something that's definitely kind of been a new tech that's evolved over the last couple of years and is really going to boom, and it's not going to stop. And then in terms of looking into the future, I think there is more adoption and more scale to connected TV, and people understand kind of the benefits and capabilities that are there. I think that everyone's just going to, come together and further innovate and figure out new ways to reach these high intent households. And overall, hopefully, continue to optimize return on ad spend, return on investments, and make everyone a profitable business.
Could you say something about the role the AI element plays in that? Is it helping you to draw more insights? Is it the ability to work with more data points in the context that you're pulling in?
Yeah. So I can speak specifically to the Mountain side of things.
Yeah, exactly.
So we use generative AI. It analyzes your website. So every customer that works with us kind of places a pixel. We're able to then analyze your website and determine products, services, create a list of what recommended audiences and keywords are that these audiences can align with. With that, we have an identity graph, which then uses interest-based segments, shopping behaviors, life events. Again, with the data points of the analyzing of the website, what we have within our own identity graph, it really couples and refines this across over 120 million households in the US, high intent buckets for audiences, and it scores them. And then the system is actually going to optimize towards reaching those highest intent households first based on these indices or these scores that the households are given. So again,
I understand.
I'm not an engineer, but that's my scope.
I follow you, absolutely. Well, all of you have all this targeting technology that helps you reach the right audiences. Can the insights that I receive from this tech be used to inform the creative as a retailer, as somebody who's out there trying to reach more customers? How does the creative benefit from this journey? Adam, maybe I could turn this back to you. How does it alter the creative that you put out there on the screen?
Yeah, we have it. I mean, we have an in-house sort of design team that helps create some of the videos as well as the multi-touch as well, which again, like that's a really great section of Mountain that's really helped with our retargeting campaigns that we could probably get into, but yeah, just in terms of using the data to sort of like reinforce our creative. We've seen that that really, yeah, like I mentioned before, like the emotional sort of videos and sort of like lifestyle videos have really just resonated with our audience. And then of course it's like on the retargeting sort of high intent campaigns is these sort of promotional sort of communication as well. But since we're quite a lean team with our on sort of like our design sort of aspect, we've leveraged like creative as a service as well that Mountain has provided, and so yeah, that in and of itself has really helped as well, just in terms of we have sort of a bank of creative that we send over, and then they can essentially just repurpose it into videos that are just highly optimized for CTV. So that's definitely helped out for us, especially in like Q4, when that's definitely like one of our highest selling seasons.
Well, could you tell me about the multi-touch approach and what that's meant for you while we're on the topic?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, as of late, yeah, our design team, they create different like display banners, and so essentially when we run a discounted message or video, that pretty much that display asset extends to other devices within that household that the ad was showing in, and yeah, just from there we've seen that if we could extend the message to other areas, it just stays like top of mind on prospects, and it's very yeah, it's just very effective on driving sales.
I see. So it gives you more opportunities to reach that household or target that you have there. Great.
Exactly. Yeah.
Lynn, tell me about your experience at replacements.com. How has your creative been informed by what you've learned in CTV? Yeah.
Through the, I think Adam mentioned the bank of creative resources that we're able to optimize as well. For us, we went into it, I think, with a intent or a hypothesis around trying to build that general awareness as I will say, a lifestyle-ish kind of brand where it's, scripted for that experience to pull at the heartstrings and remind people emotionally of who we are and what we do. And through that process and partnering with the creative team, we've been able to create different call to actions and versions, which help us understand like how much of that really does happen or resonates. I guess it's really resonates, not happens, but resonates overall. And what that really allowed us to do is, interestingly for us, we've been testing different versions, and some that we pulled together internally along with some of these new assets. And we have this one video, we call it the Doug video, whereby it's truly showing someone who basically is taking a plate off a shelf, turning and dropping it, and it's shattering. And so, and we tested different versions of that, whether it be, Doug doing it because every family has a Doug. And then, the timing of that being right before the holidays. So you want to remind people that they need to check all those. So for us, it's really testing in a way that allows us to get clarity around call to actions, the intent of the message. And to Adam's point earlier, we have not specifically used promotions in that type of way in terms of discounting or offering that type of offer, but we do carry that message through, and from top of the funnel, the awareness down to the actual follow-up retargeting to reinforce that. And as soon as someone gets on our site, as so many of us experience, then we are collecting that information or being able to highlight those areas of interest that you were just on. And so we're able to tell that full story at the end of the day. You may have come to us because you're reminded that, yes, I do have a Doug in my family that just broke my dinner plate, and I do need to get a replacement. Sure. I know I'm a Doug at times. And then once you get to the site, I can see that, oh, for me, I went to Port Marion Botanic Garden and I left. And so then I get reminded, oh, you probably did need that dinner plate. So it is that full life cycle communication and engagement that Mountain provides us, that complete picture and that 360 opportunity to just stay engaged with that consumer.
Yeah, well, as we all know, I mean, you, like I said before, you both have very unique use cases that are specific to your products. But Lynn, maybe I could ask you first, are there any creative tips that you could provide to any other retailers out there in the audience today? Any creative tips that have worked well for you that you would recommend considering for somebody and their brand as they're, using creative to drive results?
If I have a good tip, but I would say that I am a huge proponent and love A/B testing, and being able to just see what really works. And we test as frequently as we can, different messages and on different platforms. So I think it's that, and that's my story right now.
That's all right. That's a very, it's important. It's vital. I would say even in my own line of work, I've seen A/B testing make the difference on more than one occasion. Adam, how about on your end with your creative team you work with? I don't know. Do you have any creative tips that you would share with the audience for their brands and what could help them to drive better results?
Yeah. So Mountain, they allow either like 15-second or 30-second videos to be uploaded. So usually for like brand awareness, we like to utilize like 30-second just to get, just to have like a greater amount of time to sort of tell the brand story and sort of drive engagement and curiosity. And then on retargeting, just pretty much primarily stick with 15-second and really just try to, because like I mentioned, we really made it, really run it for promotions. Like right now we're running like free shipping on bikes. So usually, we try to just focus on, the promotional message, and then also just not too much sort of moving images, but or sort of like film, but sort of like a slideshow type of creative for that retargeting video. But and then just leave lifestyle for the awareness. So yeah, I feel like and then also, as Lynn mentioned, just test as much as you can, because you can really find out a lot from just trying new things. So yeah.
Understand. Well, we've talked a little bit about the fact that this is a space that is growing and evolving. Amelia, maybe I could ask you, how do you think connected TV will grow in 2025? Are there any predictions or tech trends that you see that you would recommend keeping an eye on?
Yeah, I mean, CTV isn't going anywhere. More and more people love their television. I think Adam and I were chatting about this previously. Given they're an Austrian company, we have to explain, the value of CTV in the United States. And Americans, we love TV. So I think it's projected that on average, roughly, the traditional household is going to spend 2 hours or more consuming streaming content per day. So that's a lot. And I think that there's a lot of opportunity to reach a lot of households and to reach families and to reach eyeballs. So I think that, further investment should be put into CTV to keep up with the trend of time and consumption that's going to be there. So it's not going anywhere. It's going to be, more ingrained into the American day than ever before. So I think just that. And then also, I think one trend to keep an eye out for is I'm hearing a lot more about interactivity with ads themselves. I think that'll be interesting to kind of see how that expands within the retail space. And then also AI. I mean, if it's gonna generate better performance, if it's gonna take a easier lift off your shoulders of kind of exactly identifying which keywords should I use, which not, the guessing game, if it's going to make that essentially easier for you and your brand, test and learn, test and iterate. And I think that's the name of the game for 2025.
Adam, is somebody who's reaching customers and putting your brand out there in the contexts that CTV allows you to reach, what's on your mind looking ahead to 2025? What are your expectations for CTV, and what tech trends are you keeping your eye on as you think about how you're reaching shoppers?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely like the targeting options. So like in addition to Mountain Match, I believe we've also like implemented some keyword sort of based targeting as well, which we've seen some really good results on. And then yeah, just like as I mentioned before, like with growing out the offline business, we're really wanting to sort of have some call to actions and really like target people specifically within areas that they could sort of easily maybe even incentivize people to go in to their nearest REI or independent bike dealer and try out the bike, because I think once people are really hands-on with our bikes, yeah, it's just it's a much easier sell.
I get it. Lynn, how about you? What are you interested in? What will you be watching? What's on your mind when you think about reaching your shoppers through CTV and what's going on there from a tech angle?
I think, as Amelia mentioned, just the number of streaming services and the time spent ingesting that and using AI to help really refine your targeting and your creative assets so that you are sharing a relevant message in a timely manner. And so being present, continuing to test and expand those opportunities to, for us as a very tenured, well-established brand, maintaining relevance and gaining new audiences is really important to us. And I think being able to tell a generational story is more, we're able to better do that through the platform where you're showcasing it in video in that type of way. So I feel like this is a very relevant platform for us, and provides us the opportunities to just share stories across generations.
Yeah. Well, let me ask another forward-looking question to you, which is how do you see your own strategy evolving? What have you learned that you see making you better in the year ahead through CTV? Any final words that you'd of advice that you'd share, or any ideas that you're looking to explore more in the year ahead? Well, let me, maybe I can phrase that a different way. How do you think your strategy will continue to grow and evolve in the year ahead? Quite simply.
So I'll say for replacements, I see us further investing in this platform and the
Yeah.
opportunity to get in front of our customers. We have seen with the additional spend, we're still able to maintain a ROAS that
Yeah.
is very attractive to us, and it is garnering us net new customers, while we're also, and it's something mentioned earlier, is that reactivation for our product category. It is that reminder and constant. So I see us continuing to utilize the technology in the AI specifically as we are looking at our audiences and being able to more narrowly define those and be more clear as to who those audiences could be.
That makes a lot of sense. Sure. Adam, how do you see your own brand strategy evolving and growing in the coming year? Any advice or anything else that you'd point to other brands to keep an eye on?
Yeah, I would just say to, yeah, I mean, with CTV, it really allows, at least for us, it allowed us to really like legitimize the brand by, showing and really telling like an emotional sort of story within a 15 to 30-second video, and sort of it really matches the medium that people were. They're watching like a movie or a show, and they see like this like high quality video. It definitely helps to really keep the brand like top of mind on prospects, and then like in addition the targeting aspect with Mountain Match, it really helps really like hone in the audience. So yeah, I think we'll just continue to really keep telling like an emotional story, but also we'll be having a few new like product launches as well that we can apply to those videos and those creatives. So yeah, I would just say yeah, continue to test, and yeah, you should find what's working for y'all pretty quickly.
I see. Amelia, maybe I could turn that over to you to ask you what you're going to be watching, and what opportunities do you see appearing before brands in the year ahead?
Yeah, I think, I know we talked a lot about creative storytelling and kind of where the creative leans itself. I think with CTV specifically, obviously, it's sight, sound, motion. It's that emotional evoking experience where I think what I'm having conversations with a lot with my customers is how to involve that storytelling experience throughout the customer journey and the full funnel on CTV. So we talked a lot about audience targeting, but where does that fall within the funnel? Upper funnel, middle funnel, lower funnel, and there's a space for it all to be a fully fledged full funnel strategy on CTV and align creative within each specific funnel as well. So I think that that's something that I'm really excited about and continuing to explore and test with my customers into 2025. So a lot of conversations to be had about creative itself, and what the performance drivers you want to be and the outcomes you want to be of that said creative.
Yeah, it's a question, whenever I'm watching, whether it's linear TV or something else, like I'm always curious when I see ads pop up, wondering if it's, this spot, how customized and targeted is what I'm seeing versus, you know, a traditional linear TV ad spot that I would have seen? Is it being repurposed? Do you see any attributes of CTV specific advertising that work when decisions are made in a CTV context versus other contexts? What optimizes them to have the best performance? Is it that micro targeting and testing and learning that informs them and that wouldn't have been possible otherwise?
I think so. I think
Yeah.
that CTV really kind of keeps, you know, the relevancy, the top of mind. It kind of fills your mind. Again, you're getting a full 15 to 30 second unskippable spot
Yeah.
put in front of you when you're already naturally engaged in content itself. So if I may be so bold to say that I think CTV is one of the most effective and powerful channels that you can have in your marketing mix.
Yeah.
And, you know, investing with CTV will help increase kind of the performance across the board.
I hear you. We have a question out here, and I'd reiterate that if anybody else has questions they'd like to add to the queue here, where we have a few minutes to address these. Well, we've got these wonderful panelists in front of you today. This question, you know, Adam and Lynn, I know you're both, as I understand it, primarily in B2C contexts. Amelia, I don't know if you could speak to this, but the question is, do you believe CTV could be equally effective with a B2B audience, facing businesses as buyers? If so, can we reach global markets beyond the Americas? That's interesting. I would be interested to know if any of you have thoughts on reaching. I don't know if any of you deal with customers. Actually, Adam, I know you deal with a parent company in Austria, as you mentioned. So two sides to this question. I don't know. You could start with either one, Adam, if you have thoughts on reaching international shoppers and how effective CTV can be.
Yeah, on the international piece, our colleagues out in Europe have been curious as to, you know, getting some CTV ads like within their marketing mix as well. So, so yeah, I'm not sure if Mountain's available like for European sort of streaming platforms, but yeah, it's definitely something that they're interested in.
Yeah. And Amelia, maybe you could educate me. I'm not sure about what Mountain does with B2B customers or internationally, but what could you speak to on that front?
Yeah, we actually have seen that success is just as equal across B2B versus B2C. Again, with all the targeting capabilities, particularly with CRM, if you have, you know, high intent audiences you want to reach, if you already have a list, we can upload and target that way. Or we can go after, you know, primary decision makers, leveraging third-party interest-based segments. We've also seen success utilizing that, again, generative AI that are picking out the keywords and reaching those high intent households. So yeah, I mean, we have case studies, go check them out. But yes, long answer short, yes, it is also effective, as equally effective for B2B.
I appreciate that. Thank you for the audience members chiming in here. We've talked a little bit about looking ahead to 2025. I don't know if any of you have thoughts on what you saw at the end of this past quarter. We just came out of a very, very busy holiday season. Did CTV play a big role that any of you saw in what was going on with holiday activity? I'd open this to any of you. Lynn, I don't know what the holiday season is like. In my household, I know things break during the holidays, but
yeah, the holiday is an important time for us. And we actually saw that what we were able to do with CTV was drive an additional 12% in revenue from, you know, and so we were excited to see that. And it is from the top to, you know, all the way through the funnel. So we were really excited, and we kind of hang on that to continue the investment in this area for us.
Got it. Yeah. Adam, I don't know if you have any thoughts on here, how the season went for you. Yeah.
I think in addition to all brands, the holiday season is quite an important one. So so yeah, we definitely leveraged Mountain and pretty much if we were to look at like our quarterly budgets, Q4 is really the quarter that we allocate the most towards. So yeah, pretty much within those 3 months, we are running multiple creatives just because we were having multiple offers running within that time frame. And so the main one being like up to 30% off site wide. So yeah, we definitely saw a lot of engagement, and we really wanted to make sure that we had the budget set aside to really capture and capitalize on the customers that are ready to purchase. So yeah, we saw year over year growth from.
That's great.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of people that are looking to purchase. It's just I think in addition to other brands, we've instead of like a Black Friday, it was sort of like a Black November almost. So we just sort of the promotional period.
That's an interesting story in of itself. Yeah. Happy to
Yeah.
hear that. Yeah. Amelia, from your perspective, I know the holidays tend to be like the rest of the year, only more so, and you see certain things become more pronounced. What was on your mind coming out of the holiday season from a CTV's perspective, and what did you see?
Yeah, the holidays were extremely interesting, actually.
Yeah.
Kind of, I think Adam almost, nailed it with saying it wasn't just a Black Friday, it was a Black November, because so many people were shopping early. We saw that roughly like 60% of CTV viewers were going to have all of their shopping completed roughly before Thanksgiving. So the earlier you were advertising, the earlier, you were getting your sales out in front of people, you saw kind of those returns coming in. Before the traditional Black Friday, Cyber Monday timeframe, because it was so late in the season, which I thought was really interesting this year. So we saw people between the elections and then the actual Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales, we saw an uptick in ad spend as people were prepping for the seasonality of it. So it was an interesting one for sure.
That's fascinating. I mean, I heard anecdotally that there was, because there was so much ad spending going on with the election that after it was over, there was sort of a starting line for retail to re-enter the picture and make those exposures. And I wasn't sure how anecdotal that was, but it definitely sounds like it reflects what you saw in that rush to early spending. And glad to hear that people were seeing return on investment from that.
Yeah, I think we saw a huge uptick, in those early weeks leading ahead of the actual sale, because sales are starting earlier, and thus, the ad spend kicked off a couple weeks before the traditional weekend.
All right. Well, I think if we don't have another question from the audience, I would like to thank all of you, first of all, both on the panel here and also in the audience, for joining us today. Thank you, Amelia. Thank you, Lynn, and Adam, all, and for everyone listening here and in the future as this recording plays. There will be a replay of the webinar. I should make sure everyone is aware. It'll be available to you after this is over. When we conclude, you'll see a pop-up window on your screen asking you to provide feedback on today's discussion. And if you can, I'd ask you to please take a few minutes to fill this out, because your feedback helps us to plan future webinar events and understand what kinds of presentations work best for those of you who tune in. So with that, I wish you all a wonderful new year as we head into 2025 now, and thanks once again.